Hi, how's it in the name of Jesus Christ? How you doing? It's your girl Cake Karabo. I hope you're good. I hope you're peachy. I hope you are stellar. And I hope you're in a neat little bench. If you're not, welcome to the party. Is that just not the story of our lives? Let me just put some caveats out there. Kindly look out for my captions down below. They're not always accurate. They sometimes use a small G for God. They're sometimes misspelled. Anyway, there's issues. One day, God willing, in the future, when I have an incentive to do so, I will edit them, or I will hire somebody to do them. Okay? Yeah. But for now, I just don't have an incentive because I'm not big enough, and I don't have enough people watching especially my long form content, so we keep them there. Because we think they're cute. There's a plan around that. I'm just putting that out there. And then next up on the agenda, my makeup. I'm very potentially wearing app makeup. Kindly look out for that. It sometimes bounces off the face, falls off, stuff like that. Yeah, I'm not shape-shifting. It's an application. And then I have a segment where I pinch my cheeks. I'm only human after all. 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 Don't take a jab at me. Okay, yeah, so this here, the intention is to inspire empathy. It's not really working because, yeah, we're gonna talk about it in a minute. Dealing with an insensitive platoon. Because that's what they are, a platoon of soldiers for the devil. And I'm like, whatever, okay, I'm stronger, I belong to Jesus. Yeah, you've made me wiser and stronger. Thanks for making me a fighter. Ooh, anyway, yeah. So I try to blush my cheeks essentially to display that I've got blood. And that when you prick me, I bleed. And that when my blood bleeds out, it coagulates. And when you slap me, I go ouch. When you do strange things, I essentially hurt. Some days the blushing of the cheeks works, some days it doesn't, and at this point I'm just like, you know what, who cares? Today was not so successful, but who knows, another day's another day. Booyah, boom. I hate it when it doesn't work. Look, we're not doing this, okay? If it doesn't want to achieve, it doesn't want to achieve. It doesn't want to achieve. Maybe on days when it doesn't achieve, that's when witches go to the drawing board. And they're like, she's not even human, right? She ain't got no blood. She ain't got no blood. So I insist upon it. There we go. I think I achieved success ever so mildly. Over there, I told you guys that I would get an electric blanket. I did. And now it's boiling me from underneath. Underneath this bed, there's a boiling blanket. Okay. Yeah, I just put it down to the lowest setting because goodness gracious. Burn vibes much? It's the reason why I can afford to wear lighter clothing like this. It's because I finally got my electric blanket. Hallelujah. Alrighty, so today's the 26th of April 2024, but it's actually really truly the 25th because I'm speaking on behalf of the 25th, but I've crossed over to the next day. It's the wee hours of the morning right now. It's like what, 1 a.m, 12:30, so it's not really that wee. Yeah, I prefer to speak at this time because there's fewer distractions. I wanted to rock up earlier, but then my mom and my sister were just up and down walking, talking. I was just like, I'm not gonna survive, so I prefer this time. That's just what it is that we do these days. Plus, at this late hour, I've taken a shower and removed the white cast sunscreen on my face, so I present even better phenotypically, just physically. Aesthetically, I just look better in the evenings because I don't have a white cast sunscreen just flashing you. Alright. Yeah, and my hair has also been moisturized by exercise and shower water, so it also presents better, unlike the hard knock, crusty, unmoisturized, unbuttered thing that's going on when I take off a doogie and come here and record and try to spritz up my messed up edges. It just doesn't work. Everything just works out better at this time. That's what I'm getting at. So let's just get straight into it. Let's be as taboo as we desire. The downside of this time though is that I can't sing if I want to sing loudly, and I also can't raise my voice, but it's alright. Don't nobody need to be doing that anyway, right? Okay, cool. Like, y'all, I'm still under attack. Earlier, I was really going through it, and it was actually one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to come and speak earlier. It's because when my emotions are raw concerning a particular topic, I really go in with it. But then when I've calmed down, because endorphins are in my body, I'm a lot lighter on the feet. And I just feel like that lightheartedness sometimes makes people think I'm not serious, which is not true. Listen, insensitivity. I'm like, do what you want to do with it. Run with it in these streets, kick it around like a soccer ball, perhaps knead it like some dough. Put it in an oven and maybe come out and feed the community with puff pastry or something. Yeah, do that with your insensitivity. Let it brew and stew and feed you until you're nicely fat and obese, sufficiently enough to sink out of the earth deep into the core shall you then go, and then burn there in the center. Molten lava and everything. In the earth's like core, the crusty joint, go there. I am exhausted with insensitivity. I did display earlier that I've got blood in my cheeks, but people don't seem to quite care. It's not just in my cheeks, I've got arteries, you know. I got veins and everything. I've got hemoglobin in my system such that if I breathe, my blood actually be looking red. And if I don't breathe, my blood actually be looking purple. I'm just saying I'm human. But don't nobody seem to care. However, it is written in Matthew 24 that people would care very little, so I guess I'm addressing a bunch of randos that I hope are going to feed themselves with their insensitivity until they're so obese that the earth can't carry them, that they will sink into the center of the earth and get burnt by the crust. The earth's core, just molten lava vibes. I really don't care anymore. Wishes. Your psychosis is exquisite, and I am exorbitantly exhausted from making war with it, but it is what it is. And granted that it is what it is, we're going to then just kind of deal with it, okay? I don't like you, which is not because you're particularly special in the group of people I don't like, but because you are destructive. You're utterly destructive in a very unique way in comparison to everybody else that's destructive on the planet. So today, when I was working out outside, I yet again busted a criminal. I happened upon a bandit. I don't know, I'm just the one person in this complex where we stay that's always just busting bandits. Like, I don't know what that is about. I guess it's because I'm born again. I've got a shield and everything around me, and the Lord likes it when I'm like the buster of people. I don't know, but I have caught criminals in this joint before. I have a bravery that surprises and puzzles even men. It's like that's the thing, right? So to die is gain. To live is Christ, but to die is gain. I really don't have a fear of death. It's like ridiculous. So I just kind of hop into circumstances sometimes without really thinking. And then people look at me like I'm weird afterwards, like they crease their foreheads on some, why didn't you scream or cry for help? Why did you actually try to apprehend a person? And I look at them and I'm like, I guess you're right, I should have ran like everybody else, but I just don't have a fear in me of just getting lambasted. I don't know, like suffering, sorrow has made me kind of brave. So I tend to like confront criminals, like I do stuff like that. Have I always been like that? I haven't always dealt with criminals, so I can't even answer you that. I've never been in such a bad bunch of a situation that I would have had to like maybe be scared of a criminal, like gunshot, not gunshot, what do you call this, like knife edge or gun edge. I've never had that for a problem before until I came to Christ, but I've never really dealt with gun edge type people. You know, this computer, like, oh goodness, like wow, another day, like do this another day, 1 minute. Yes, like a bitch, like I can't deal. Don't go blank on me, just don't. Anyway, it came back. I was gonna stop recording. I happened upon a bandit today. And I happened upon a bandit about a year ago too. And the year ago one was even especially excruciating because it was in the wee hours in the morning. I went outside. For what reason, I don't know. I think I wanted to go pee. And then I found the bandit. And instead of being like, oh, and screaming, I was like, what are you doing? The person was busy stealing things from vehicles and stuff, and I spoke to him. I said, hey, Windsor, what are you doing? And he ran. They always ran. They ran. Maybe because I'm coming in the name of Jesus Christ, what they hear rather is God's rebuke instead of me. They don't hear a woman, they hear the voice of many waters. I don't know, I think they ran. I've got the power of the Holy Spirit. I don't know. But bandits run from me, you guys, and I don't know why y'all ain't. I don't understand why you guys aren't running from me, because you're like these bandits in the complex, like these sticky-fingered thieves. I'm always catching them, and it's never planned, and I don't even know why under heaven they do things when I'm available to bust them, but they do the other time like I said, I was going to pee. This bandit tried to hide, and then I was like, what are you doing? And he ran away. Today there was one shuffling around, like fidgeting around my mother's car, and I was working out. You can actually, if you watch my video where I was working out, you will see, you will make such an observation. 1 second. You might be able to see in my video that it's the day when I was working out wearing the white top and the black pants that are Voopsie bell-bottomy at the bottom. Yeah, and there was a season in that workout when I kept on looking right. I was looking outside, because I could hear that there was something happening. I was uncertain as to whether or not it was animals like cats and whatnot, but goodness, like it did not give cat vibes. It just didn't give cat. And my cat was around me, and usually when there's other cats, especially one particular cat, my cat gets all feisty and full of wool, and my cat was chill. So anyway, yeah, ultimately this dude prospered to open my mom's car, like while I was working. I don't know why. That's the thing, the music is very, very soft. He did not see me for whatever reason, and when he opened the car, I saw the lights go on, and I thought that my mom was just sitting in the car the whole time, but I mean, I could have sworn I saw her in the bedroom. So I walked to, like, I basically just was like, I walked towards it, and then this dude, I noticed that it was not anybody that was safe, good people's, and I was like, what the heck? Like, I thoroughly spoke with this dude, and I was like, what the heck? And that's when he just, like, decided to just cordially leave. He made a decision to leave, to walk away. I don't know, perhaps I just happened upon bandits that don't have weapons, or at least not ones that are mightier than mine. Yeah, and the fact that I was able to ward off the other bandit, like, I'm always a witness. There were like patrol cars and everything in this joint after that. I'm always such a witness, and I felt like they were taking away my exercise time, but anyway, that was eradicated. I worked out anyway, I finished to the end. That little bandit that ran away, because I just simply was like, what are you doing? What the heck? Like, those were my words verbatim. I was like, what the heck? I just looked at him, considered him weird. Like, what are you doing? Yeah, he then just went on right ahead and hopped like a kangaroo. He ran. Yeah, okay. Witness to a crime. My spiritual gifting is exactly like that. I just keep on happening upon bandits in the middle of exercise, in the middle of here chatting, in the middle of uploading content on YouTube, and I'm always like, what the heck? And these randos aren't being appropriate, because that's just the thing. When you get caught red-handed, guys, in the spirit, you sometimes think you haven't been caught. So you don't run like the bandits that I'm privy to constantly capturing. I'm always a witness, I promise you. I'm always a witness in this complex. I am perpetually a witness. I'm always catching bandits, and I'm always trying to apprehend them, and then they run away from me. They run away. And the bravery that I walk in when I describe it to the security company, when I describe it to the body corporate, they just look at me creasing their foreheads on some, you're gonna, like, weren't you scared? Not in the moment. Adrenaline. Let us speak about my adrenaline response. I have been persecuted for a decade, and never has my adrenaline response ever been flight. It's always been fight. I am in a war, and I believe Jesus so much. I trust him so much. I believe the word of God so much that I thoroughly comprehend myself as one that is absolutely capable to win whatever battle I am put in. So I don't cower. That is a power given me by God. I'm like Van Damme in Bloodsport, and the Kingdom of Darkness is like Dompo. They play dirty, they below the belt, they hurt me in an injury that's already there. They put dust in my eyes to make me blind, but my master, my sensei, trained me to fight without eyes and with an injury in my body. And so therefore I conquer the dude who plays dirty. I conquer the dude who goes against the rules of the competition. I play against the individual that could not care less to honor the rules because he works for a dad, a kingdom that is generally very into breaking rules. So I'm playing by the rules, but it doesn't matter. So I fight blind, I fight limping, I fight in a wheelchair, I fight on my period. It's just like adverts of period girls that swim even in their like state. I fight just because that's what we are to do. Never mind what we are to do, but it is the bravery that God gives us. It's not of us, it's otherworldly. It's extraworldly. It's not here. It's transcendent. It's just unimaginative. It's unimaginable, sorry. It's unfathomable because it's not of us. It's a bravery that does not make sense, that makes people crease foreheads. It is the very antithesis of cowardice. And when then you walk in that antithesis of cowardice, you will be, like I said, sort of kind of brave in a way that makes others crease their foreheads in the moment. Because that's the thing about an adrenaline response. You don't have time to think. You just act. You just act. And then later on, stuff happens. Later on, you realize that, oh, okay, that was very brave. That was unexpected for a woman. That was strange. That was, an aberrant response given the ecosystem that we're dealing with here, but I guess it is what it is. Thank God you're still alive. Yeah, it is an adrenaline response, and it is always fight. And the reason why it's like that is because I've been put on the defensive for 10 years. I have been made war with by the kingdom of darkness for 10 years, such that even in physical, waking, threatened spaces, I am without fear, even when it's not spiritual, because my dream space, my spiritual space is so active with demonic attack, with demonic abuse, and it feels so real, and it is so alive, and it is just so incredibly thick to influence that I literally, the divide between the spiritual realm and the physical realm, that veil that separates the two has thinned so much for me. It has become so invisible for me. It has basically become like vapor that I can't tell that, I can tell the difference, but like I don't operate like it's different within these spaces anymore. Granted, how much physical random rubbish has manifested thanks to it commencing in the spirit realm. I no longer react differently physically from what it is that I saw spiritually. There was a time when my dreams used to make me relieved, sort of kind of wipe sweat off my forehead in the morning when I woke up. When the dream was very treacherous and horrible, yeah, I would wake up and be like, shoo, it was just a dream. I no longer do that because too many of my dreams have come true. Too much spiritual attack happens in the dream space, and so when I see something horrific, I have the requisite emotion, almost like it happened physically, and I go to war with it, almost like it has happened physically, because it tends to manifest physically if I don't fight it. That is the poignancy of my spiritual gifting. Therefore, that which is a bravery in the dream and in the vision and in the metaphysical space has just spilled over into the physical, such that now I deal with bandits with my bare hands. I confront them, looking at them in the eye on some, but what are you doing? And the physical ones, if I tell you, even though they're in a position to physically harm me, always run. The physical bandits always run, you guys. Like, you know what? You are brazen and brave. That's why you must go to the core of the earth and just cease to exist. Sizzle like meat on a rotisserie, completely disappear, blacken the way that you've been made crusty with char, and just never come up for air again. Wicked men and women, do that. Get obese with your wickedness until you sink into the core of the earth and pass away. A second and a third, maybe even a 10th death, I'm that mad. Like proper, just disappear. Because you don't have decorum or respect for the art of getting busted. You don't have respect for getting caught. You have no mercy for getting caught, like proper. You have no rightful reverence for the act of being caught, like a lot of criminals commit crimes in the dark, shrouded by mystery, precisely because they hope not to get caught. They don't wear bright clothing with glowworms on them alongside Christmas lights. And then tinkering bells that go diggy 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 as they walk on their feet. They don't wear little shiny ornate glitter hats. They do not ensure that they are wearing chandelier earrings that make a noise, a crunching noise as you wave your head left and right. They do not wear bomber jackets that sound like plastic when they're rubbing against each other. They tend to wear discreet clothing that is super duper dark, making like camouflage, that you might not be able to see them. And then they don't wear heels that go 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 go. or boots that are going to be crunching as they walk. They tend to wear practically socks in their endeavors. They wear shoes that are inaudible. They conceal that they're in the room, that they're there. They shroud themselves in hoodies, beanies, maybe even a whole balaclava altogether. They ensure that the likelihood of them getting caught is significantly reduced by how shrouded and camouflaged like a personhood they are. Those are true bandits. Those are bandits that have some kind of level of wisdom in their banditry. But you guys, goodness gracious, you're ornate, you're shiny, you wear Christmas socks on the job. Like, I can't deal. It's a can't deal. Go to the core of the earth and burn. Do that. You wear you wear Christmas lights and chandelier earrings. You wear glitter hats. You wear bells and whistles on your shoes, and you make sure that they are hard knock gumgelala heels that go as you walk. Your pants are made of plastic and asbestos and all different kinds of strange materials that make a noise as you shuffle your thighs. And they crunch up like those plastic bags that everybody might hear you. And then on top of that, you have put on your body Christmas lights that beam, that people might know that you're in the room. And then you also carry a bell and a whistle. And you also whistle with your own, like, lips, and then you let people know, I'm here. Alright. Because the nature of the alleged anonymity of your deeds make you even more brazen to steal, to kill, and to destroy. You do not make like earthly bandits. You should go watch the movie Ocean's 11 like proper. Make like the Grease Man. You know the Grease Man? That Chinese dude. Okay, let me just say Asian and not assume that he's Chinese. Yeah, but the dude that can bend and fit into just about anything. He's like a whole, what do they call it? As a ventriloquist artist. Like these people that just can mend and bend their bones, and he can fit into any structure. He's always just climbing walls like a spider. Y'all should train yourselves that kind of like artwork. Or maybe like Turlo. Is it Ocean's 12 that Turlo is at? The dude who does capoeira and can like avoid laser beams with his capoeira art. Go and train yourself some capoeira so you may be discreet. Capoeira is done barefoot lots of times, and the clothing that is worn therein, it's just this like fabric that's stretchy that hangs onto your body and does not make a noise. So wear a capoeira outfit and with no shoes at all. Teach yourself little tumblers and funny little cartwheels so that you can elude your victims. But you guys tend to be ornate and showy, unlike the Grease Man in Ocean's 11 and 13, and unlike Turlo in Ocean's 12, like proper. Your bandits make like Bandits of the Earth, proper. You know how Bandits of the Earth sometimes get ideas of banditry from movies? They watch movies and they copy them. Have you seen the movie Jerusalem? Yeah, that movie basically speaks about, it tells the world that criminals get a lot of their ideas on how to cash and transit heist, how to take anything they want really truly from Hollywood. They go and watch movies and then they just copy them. It's just what's happening. So I guess that's why glamorizing crime on TV is not ideal. It's not right, because it's teaching criminals banditry. It's giving them ideas. Yeah, so if a physical criminal can watch Ocean's 11, 12, and 13 and figure out how to enter into a vault of a bank without getting caught, why are you not employing the same banditry wisdom? There is no wisdom in theft. There is no wisdom in ill-gotten gain. There is no wisdom in doing that which is wrong against God. But there is something called worldly wisdom, which leads to, of course, just a demised state. There is a worldly wisdom, a way that seems right to a man, but in the end it leads to death. And this worldly wisdom is the kind of stuff people on the earth employ when they try to basically get away with a whole bunch of murder against fellow human beings. When they are kind of white collar in their criminality, very smooth criminals, very smooth criminals, people who can elude the system for years upon years of being bandits in these streets because they're just really smart. Yeah, they've got a worldly wisdom that leads to death, but on the earth they prosper to escape getting apprehended. Why under heaven are you not trying to be like that? At least, I mean, if you're going to make a craft out of stealing from people in the spirit, at least conceal yourselves. At least when you get caught, do like what worldly criminals do. Try to run. Try to escape. Try not to get caught. Try not to go to jail, for crying out loud. Like, try not to go to jail. Try not to get a life sentence. Try not to get the death sentence. Try to elude the system. Is it Al Capone? That was obviously like this hard knock mafia boss guy that could not get busted and but for tax evasion. Like, the dude was so able to elude the authorities that they could only catch him on tax evasion. Imagine that, tax evasion. Like, the dude was a prolific murderer. He was essentially into genocide. I mean, you might as well have called him that. He was a drug kingpin. He was running a crime empire, but he was only found wanting in tax evasion. Are you serious? Like, yeah, you get my point. Yeah, because he was a smooth criminal, a physical, earthly, smooth criminal. There is a way that they do things because their stuff is generally disliked by society. Most people are just not content with them living next door to them. Most people just don't dig it when there's like a whole crime lord that's like their next door neighbor. They're always scared. They're always hearing gunshots. They're always hearing people getting tortured. And there's always funny little cars driving in and out at strange hours of the morning because we know that our next door neighbor is a whole crime kingpin, but you're not about to call the popo because you're scared that your Al Capone next door neighbor might just make out of you a suffering, dying person that is being tortured for being a snitch. Yeah. That's what's good. Nobody likes to live. Nobody likes to live next to the gangster. Nobody, yeah, in society likes to live next to the gangster. So because most people in society don't like criminals because they wreak havoc in our lives, they disturb the peace in societies, these criminals try as best as possible to blend into regular life. Before they get found wanting for their criminality, before everybody suspects them of such stuff as this, they tend to want to blend in. They tend to act as if though they're cool. That's why they launder their money and they don't make it clear that I am running a crime empire, and so therefore I'm going to bury all of my money in the jungles of Machu Picchu or whatever. They first try to fit in, and then when they get caught, that's when they start to live in corners and gutters like rodents. Look at Pablo Escobar. He tried to even become the president of Colombia, the way that he was so able initially to look like an upstanding guy. Initially, he claimed himself a businessman that ran a taxi business, but then, I mean, there was just too much money for that taxi business, so they started to indeed hide the money in the jungles of, not Brazil, but Colombia. So if Pablo Escobar, being as prolific a terrorist to Colombia as he was, could initially, at least before he got found wanting, try to blend in to society and elude arrest, escape getting caught, if Pablo Escobar could do that, being the cold-hearted criminal that he was, what in the world, when you are at a lower level than him in the spirit space, why under heaven are you not trying to blend in to society? Which is, come on, we need to talk. Why are you not trying to mix yourself with society? Why are you not trying to evade arrest? Why are you not trying to escape getting found wanting? Why do you not want to live an above reproach life, or at least what looks like it? What is, like, you know, like a false reputation? You are a gangster, but you are philanthropic. You are always giving so much money. You're altruistic, and so for those reasons, everybody loves you. You're a gangster, but everybody loves you, and nobody knows that you're a gangster because you look like you own a legitimate business. Why are you not laundering your funds? Why aren't you making like regular physical criminals? Why aren't you fleeing like the bandits I am always privy to witnessing, doing a strange thing that I'm like, and they run? Why aren't you trying to avoid arrest? Because at this point, the judiciary, the authority that has also employed the executive in your particular spiritual landscape are angels of God and Christians. We are the popo and we are the judge. We are the people that are effecting this law. We are the government. We are the three legs of government: the legislature, the judiciary, and the executive, in differing measure, really. God is the be-all and end-all of a judge, and he is the one that then employs judgment across the earth through his saints, through his angels, through his holy legions. Why therefore aren't you guys running? Like, I just need to understand that. Like, I need to get it. Like, somebody talk to me about this. Look, we have to have a discussion. Like, why are you not running from the system when you are a criminal? We are the law enforcement. Christians to the kingdom of darkness are law enforcement. It's why you hate us. Every criminal hates law enforcement. They don't like the police. They can't stand sirens. They are always fugitives. They're always in flight. They're always paranoid, scared. They can't stay in one place for too long. Yeah, because there's like police presence in a neighborhood. So why, oh why, when a Christian is onto you and they're investigating your crimes, and because you're that serial killer, why don't you change your modus operandi? Like, guys, you are unwise. You are unwise even in an earthly capacity. Wisdom only comes in the fear of the Lord. True wisdom, but fake wisdom of the world, yeah, that's basically the stuff that makes out of you an Al Capone. It's the stuff that makes out of you a Pablo Escobar. It's the stuff that makes out of you a smooth criminal that gets away with murder for really long, enough to terrorize a community into exhaustion, into sleepiness, and into a belief that there's no help coming. It's the kind of stuff that causes people to throw in the towel, refuse to snitch, and allow themselves to live in a climate of crime where all these barbarians are just doing what they want to do because really no solution is coming through. So I guess we just gotta live with it. Hey, this is their world, we just live in it. When criminals are prolific, they make societies accept that they're there, and they start to basically try as best as possible to avoid getting in their way. Why, oh why, under heaven, are you not at least attempting to achieve that? You are so careless. You are so careless. You are clumsy. You've got butterfingers, just like what my teacher in high school for netball used to say, "Coach, yeah." And whenever you didn't catch a netball ball, she'd be like, "You with your butterfingers." Y'all got butterfingers. Like, for days, you are always doing a foot fault. You've got butterfingers. Like, your game is so shoddy. It is so shoddy. You are not sophisticated criminals when you join the occult. You are not. You ought to be. Because if at all, you are gonna maintain this witchcraft rubbish of yours, just like gambling, winners know when to stop. When people suspect you of sorcery, that's when you should walk away from that particular person. When a person suspects you of sorcery, in order that you might maintain your fake reputation as an upstanding guy, how you launder your money, how you launder your reputation, is by walking away from the person that's onto you. Stop bewitching the person that's onto you. Stop bewitching the person that has suspected you. Walk away. Don't ever do it again. There are so many people on the earth that don't know that witchcraft is happening, that don't know that witches are stealing from them, that don't know that witches are a thing, that don't know that witchcraft is a thing. There are so many victims all over these streets that you can dance around on. But y'all witches are super obsessed with the legislature, the judiciary, and the executive. You are obsessed with soldiers instead of civilians. You are obsessed with the very enforcement against your deeds that has been erected for the sake of dealing with you. You are obsessed with the government. That's when you are going to fry and burn. And that's why, as a member of said government, I deeply long that you should just get obese on your nonsense and sink, therefore, from all that weightiness into the core of the earth. Burn. Never come up for air again. Just keep on burning to a crisp little nugget and burn some more. Just die. Because at this point, the destruction you cause to soldiers is going to be the end of your life. You are messing with the actual government. You are obsessed with Christians, the kingdom of heaven, God. You are blasphemers at a prolific height, sacrilegious, and actively trying to topple underfoot a kingdom you can't conquer. The kingdom of heaven, is written in God's word, suffers violence and the violent take it by force. Occult practitioners, you are worse than your earthly counterparts who are into crimes as you are, because at least they avoid judges, they avoid the police, and they avoid lawmakers. They avoid the president. They avoid figures of authority that essentially keep a country in a bunch. They elude them precisely because they are focused on civilians. They are focused on intoxicating civilians with their drugs, killing civilians. They tried not to get in the way of the police. They might kill the police if the police are onto them, but they don't go out of their way. You're so crazy. They don't go out of their way to basically hunt out, weed out police and be like, look at me, I'm fighting you. As soon as a police officer is investigating you, if they suspect you, move out of that town. That's what regular criminals do, is it not? Move out that town. Leave. Make sure you can't get found properly. Flee the country. Leave the city. Do what it is that criminals do when somebody's onto them. But y'all don't. Not only are you obsessed with the government, but you are also perpetually insisting on ending or finishing or poking and prodding away at, and so therefore providing more evidence against you, the police officer that is onto you, sniffing around your backyard because they can tell that there's drugs there. The one Christian in the office that suspects you for bewitching all the colleagues. You gun for them. Like, it's so crazy. So crazy. The one godly woman that wants nothing to do with ungodly men. That's the one that you insist you're gonna marry by force. Kakorobela. You kill me. The one person that really is just one person. Let go. Move on. Like, this is not worth it. Live to fight another day. Live to fight another day. Live to fight another day. The one person that is your undoing, that is going to end you because they suspect you. You do best to just leave them in their suspicion. Because from your first spell, when they suspect you, you tend to be able to get away with murder. When you say, we are lying, this one is crazy. How dare she accuse me of this? Because a lot of people are inclined towards believing that people who blame other people for witchcraft are paranoid. People are inclined towards disbelieving the paranoid. They call us paranoid. Yeah. So, I mean, really and truly, if that one Christian girl tells you, I'm onto you, God gave me a dream that you're doing strange stuff, just diss them, tease them, call them paranoid, complain that they are harassing you verbally, and then never touch them again with sorcery. All that will be lingered at, all that will hover at in the sky, yeah, is a suspicion. A suspicion that will never ever be provable or validated. The thing that tends to give us overwhelming exculpatory evidence for witchcraft having been practiced is the fact that you insist on finishing off the Christian that suspected you at first. And in so doing, also then continue to harass the whole community until they also suspect you. Why? Because the Christian said it first. You see, the thing about witches is that they rarely ever have one victim. They tend to have many, and those who suspect them and vocalize their suspicion of them cause other people in the future, when stuff starts to go funny awry in the presence of this particular guy, they then start to be like, Karabo once said. Karabo once accused Utepiso of ABC. Karabo once accused Pinky of such a thing. Karabo once accused Tsegofatso of such a thing. Yeah, they will remember that in 2015, Karabo said that this dude is hectically involved in darkness. And now that it's 2024, one of his victims will be like, and to think I ignored Karabo. And to think that I thought Karabo was just paranoid schizophrenic. That she was just a super religious nut, over spiritualizing everything. Thinking that everybody is a witch, everybody is against her. Everybody's in the kingdom of darkness. Everybody's just a spiritual warrior against her. Yeah, to think that I brushed Karabo off. And now look at what in the world under heaven me hanging around that random nastiness has achieved in my life. That dude is obviously involved in something snacks. So you cause even civilians to not suspect you because they tend, like I said, they're bandits, right? So bandits don't just rob one house. Like, they love to make like musical chairs, moving from house to house, just stealing everybody. They've got Velcro hands, eh? Everything is just sticky. They go with them like magnet hands. Ain't nobody out here able to maintain all of their possessions intact when they walk past. So because they are such a terror in the community, ultimately people that initially disregarded the saint's complaint will go back and be like, yeah, in my life, this person passed in my life, this person walked right by my nose in my life, and just like Karabo, I felt a quick swipe. Just like Karabo, I felt some Velcro hands. Just like Karabo, those magnetic palms, because he thinks he's Magneto from the X-Men. Yeah, they done taken all of my valuable possessions. This person came into my life and all of a sudden I felt a blockage. This human being came into my life and all of a sudden I was not thriving in my job. I was always exhausted. All of a sudden I lost a job. All of a sudden I lost a promotion. All of a sudden I couldn't get a promotion. All of a sudden I was unable to get things that I want to do. This person came into my life, and as at the date that they came in, stuff started falling apart against me. They're a bad omen, it's clear. And in 2011, Karabo once accused this random Tepang of witchcraft, but I ignored her in 2011. I mean, if you had Tepang, dude, hey, like Tepang Lady Chica, like if you had just walked away from Karabo and stopped insisting and persisting, if you had just basically just kept on moving, kept on going, yeah, that little funny thing that you did in 2011 would have been a suspicion that would have just left the Christian looking nice and paranoid, and that's it. But instead, the investigative journalist out there in these streets now be looking pretty voracious. She is now looking pretty convincing. Now she is sounding sound, where before she was written off as just paranoid. You are unlike true bandits of the physical realm. They ran, guys, like, you know, I'm sorry, language, I can't like go to the center of the earth where it's just like hot with molten lava and everything, and just chill there until you're burnt to a crisp and keep burning over and over again until you're nicely thoroughly depleted, like it's entirely, because you are destructive. You're destructive. I am exhausted with repeat offenses from people in the kingdom of darkness. I am drained, and you don't even have the common sense to run when somebody's like, yay, I see that you're trying to steal some stuff from my car. I see. Years continue. You just, hey guys, you know, a couple of years ago, before I got thrown into this obscurity, I was still working at MTN. I had a dream where I had this bicycle that I had locked to some pole structure, and that bicycle looked, it was the pole structure that the bicycle was sutured to, looked similar to the carport outside that covers the cars, I guess. And we did not live in this complex at that time. We lived in Ramsey, where the place where our cars were parked was a closed garage. It was a locked garage, so it wasn't a carport. Ever since then, my mom has moved, but I saw this happening back then, where the places where we would park our cars was a carport instead of a locking garage in Ramsey, where we used to stay. And in my dream, instead of having a vehicle, a car, I had a bicycle. For what reason? And I was like, God, why would I have a bicycle instead of a car? Essentially, God was showing me the smallness of my ministry. A vehicle or a mode of transportation often represents ministry in a dream. Yeah. So God was showing me the smallness of my ministry, how I would be struggling, just as I'm struggling right now, to get myself, you know, moved. So I had a bicycle instead of a whole car. I actually had a dream prior to that where it was my car, but the next that they were trying to steal, but then the next dream it would be a bicycle. So basically, whatever little that I had, there would be an attempt to steal it, and this bicycle was locked to the carport. I had chained it to the carport. Yeah. And then there were these like 3 or 4 guys wearing black outfits actively trying to steal my bicycle. They were, one second, what does that sound? They were picking at my lock, right? The lock that I had used to bolt together the 2 chains, the chains from both sides. Yeah, they were picking at it. And then I come out and I see these guys picking the lock of my bicycle, trying to steal my bicycle. And not only did my presence not move them, just by mere virtue of finding that they're trying to pick at my bicycle, I actively said to them, hey, leave my bicycle alone. I said to them, leave my bicycle alone. What are you doing? Leave my bicycle alone. And if I tell you, the dream ended with these guys picking the lock, trying to steal my bicycle, with me just being like, leave my bicycle alone. Leave my bicycle alone. And it ended like that. I did not understand that dream at the time. How could I? How could I understand it? Because 1, I had yet to lose everything. Secondly, I had yet to understand my dreams. And thirdly, because of the fact that it was a bicycle, for me it was just bizarre. I could not have imagined that it would speak of a time when I would have one small thing left belonging to me that people would actively be trying to steal, and I would be telling them stop stealing, and they would be aware that I would be knowing that they are stealing from me, and yet they would continue to pick the lock. The dream that I had prior to that one was also a vehicle of mine, my car, but this time my Mazda 2, in my in the carport, just parked here, with people trying to steal it, and with me, these men that were all wearing shrouded in black clothing, and I would be like, what do you go, leave, like, why are you stealing my car? And despite literally catching them in the act, they still continued to try and steal my car, and the dream ended with them trying to steal my car. And then the later dream would then be a bicycle. A bicycle. So basically reduce my ministry from the size of a vehicle to a bicycle, the way that you would make sure that nobody watches my content. I've already gone through that journey, that whole stretch where it is that my work was going nowhere. I was like getting absolutely nobody viewing me, but people were actively trying to steal my bicycle. And I've also had dreams where it is that some dude was trying to discourage me, while, hey guys, yes, I've seen, so you know, the voices of like discouragement that are uttered into my ears when I'm exercising to try and get me to stop. They are so voluminous and so like, but I push anyway. I had a dream before I lost everything of me exercising in the kitchen of some house that and it was sort of kind of big, but it was shrouded in darkness as well. It looked like it was basically a taken or a stolen environment, and I was working out in that music video to the song, yeah, Beyonce, Pretty Hurts. The song that was playing in the background was Pretty Hurts, yeah, Beyonce, and I was working out like it appeared like I was on a treadmill, right, in that dream, and that Pretty Hurts song was going off, and some dude from the past that I used to think was my future husband came to me and was like, you have a very beautiful body. At that stage, I was in love with that guy. I had strong feelings for him, and I wanted him to think I'm beautiful. I wanted him to think I'm a wonderful woman or whatever. And all he had to praise was my body, basically saying to me that all that you are going to be good for is sex, because I've put you in this place to make sure that no man will ever regard you, honor you, and make out of you an honest woman. You will always just be dragged through the mud sexually. Men will always just want your body, and that will be it. And the song Pretty Hurts was just ringing in my head. I continued. He was essentially the intention was to get me to give up. I felt so sad from what he said to me in that dream that I wanted to stop exercising, but I ignored him and I continued to work out. And lo and behold, today I am so afflicted by wicked men trying to have my body, despite me making it clear, despite it being clear that I am a Christian woman and I'm waiting on God. And the voice of that dude in my ear, in my dream, is a similar sort of kind of demonic voice that I keep hearing every time I'm working out. I see visions throughout my exercise of licentious men thoroughly continuing to go back to the drawing board, trying to make me be with them sexually, settle, compromise. Today, mistress, like proper, like, yo guys, I'm gonna tell you these dreams. That's what I set apart this entire foundation to get to the point where I'm telling you what I am currently being afflicted by, and it's been something I've been talking about for a minute. All those dreams that I dreamt before I even lost a single thing are coming to pass, like right now. They have been coming to pass over the past couple. Yo guys, the Lord he forewarned me. He showed me the stuff in advance. He showed me everything that would happen in advance. And in that same dream where that dude was saying Pretty Hurts, not saying Pretty Hurts, sorry, but where he was saying that I've got a beautiful body and that's all that anybody's ever gonna want from me, he then went on right ahead to, in that dream, marry a very, like, there's this one very beautiful white chick that sings, that did covers on YouTube, like a musical, right? A very, very pretty girl. I shall not say who she is, right? Yeah. Anyway, this dude went on, like, I saw him at a mall, doting over her, very much in love with her, about to marry her. And at that time, both of us were still single. Yeah, and my heart was so broken because I thought that he was my future husband. I imagine that God was showing me that that dude is about to get married to some white woman. I later came to learn that he did get married indeed, but it was to a black chick, right? And that woman that he married, it was like nothing of her was similar to that white chick online that sang covers on YouTube type thing. Yeah. And only now I see what in the world that dream was basically showing. It was the opposite of what is likely to happen. That guy's already married, and he has been all up in my grill recently, just like a couple of other strange men, like my ex-boyfriend, etc., with sorcery trying to block me from getting to where I need to get. I would imagine, therefore, that now he's a thing of history, a thing of comprehensive history. But every time I'm working out, that dream gets fulfilled. And then I ask myself, who in the world was that guy emulating in my dream that I coveted and envied and was sorrowful over, upon him doting over her? That chick that did covers on YouTube I liked her very much, was very inspirational. I thought her voice was beautiful, okay, and I followed her. That guy never married a white woman, and so therefore all that I can flip that over to mean is that the opposite of that is true. The opposite of that dream is true. That guy represented me, and the woman he was doting over, that guy represented, like, basically my situation flipped. I'm the woman. I was the woman in the dream that was being doted over while a man looks on heartbroken, while my husband or future husband dotes over me. And in my dream, the Lord used that musical white chick telling me that likely what it is that this guy would be barren or bereft over is the musicality, the singing. The thing that stuck out a lot about that chick was that she was musically very gifted. She was musical and very dainty, very, coy, light on her feet, all that jazz. And that is how every so often I can be. I'm the person that sings every so often in my ministry. And this guy is arrested by that. He is afflicted by my musicality, and he does not want anybody to love it. So, like I said, he's married to a woman today, some black chick. So all I could imagine was that, God, were you telling me that my husband is likely a white man, and that this guy's going to be looking at me ultimately going into the sunset from a vantage point where he is observing me getting doted over by a white dude, and the thing that will be eating him alive is my musicality, like the song in my heart, the musical thing in my heart is what is eating him. It's for him, it's like I wanted, that was supposed to be mine, but it wasn't his. It didn't become his because he was heavily involved in sorcery. And so in the run-up to that, I would be basically preparing myself for embracing a future that I have been waiting on the Lord for years. And among the things that I'm doing to prepare myself for a future is exercise. I'm taking care of myself because I don't believe it's the end of my life. I'm working out. But in my workout space, before I saw him doting over that white chick in my dream, in my working out space, that's where he was discouraging me, telling me that I have a beautiful body. In other words, basically telling me that all that you will ever be wanted for is your body. Nobody will ever want you for the comprehensive thing that you are. Nobody's gonna make out of you an honest woman. I dreamt about that already long ago, and I didn't understand that dream at the time that I got it, but I was so shattered by it because at the time I was so besotted with that guy. I had such strong feelings for him, and for me to see him in that capacity in my dreams was upsetting. It was upsetting. Well, eventually life happened, the future unfolded, which is now history. And large portions of that prophecy have come to pass, except the part where I am being doted over by someone which I would imagine is a white man. I'm not saying that that's what's gonna happen, but that's what I saw in my dream. And this guy was shattered by the fact that, I was shattered and envious of the fact that he was doting over that musical woman. She was a musical girl. And for me, it was about her musicality and her charm in so being musical that really ate me alive. So I guess all the wrong reasons, whatever it is that are causing this guy to have a regret, because really and truly my godliness is the thing that ought to be the most upsetting for having lost in a man. So he's always just been carnal. That's what I'm getting at. All of these dreams, I got them at around the same time, including the dream where it is that my car was being stolen, or at least attempted stolen, and my little bicycle was also attempted being stolen. They never got stolen, but one thing that was certain in my dream is that I saw them trying this and they still continued. I saw them trying this and they still continued. So the whole moral of this particular first part of this video is, when somebody's onto you, why don't you just walk away the way that regular criminals walk away? Why do you not run? Why do you not run when somebody sees that you're trying to pick a lock? Like, move on to the next one. Proper. Criminals tend to get stopped from doing what they're doing when they get busted, when lights are shone on them. A lot of them run away. A lot of them run away because that's just the wise thing to do. Avoid getting caught. Live to fight another day. Live to steal another day. But the ones involved in the occult, guys, like I said, go to the crust of the earth and burn. The ones in the occult, the ones who steal in the occult, because that's exactly what you are. You are bandits. You steal. You steal. You commit crimes in the spirit, and you, however, in the physical waking realm, you look like stellar citizens. You look like good guys and good girls. But you are no different from bandits that creep around at night, trying to open people's cars to see if at all they are open, and then steal things from there. You are people who keep on jamming people's remotes that you might be able to come back 10 minutes later and steal contents out of their cars. You are gangsters. You steal. You listen to people talking to you. And then you go to Asangoma and you steal. Like those criminals that follow people from the bank all the way to their houses. And then just as they are opening their gates at home, they then suddenly attack them and take bags of money. Like people who wait for you to finish withdrawing cash from the ATM and then come at you with a knife and say, give me the cash. That's what you are. But instead of you physically holding a knife to a person or a gun and taking the cash after they have withdrawn from the ATM, it is your ear, your itching ear, that listens to people's witness, testimonies, that listens to people's hopes and dreams and desires, plans. When people are talking about what they're going to do, what they intend to achieve, when people are explaining to you what is presently happening that is exciting in their lives, that is the tantamount of you looking at them at the ATM withdrawing money. And then when you go to a sangoma to stop that marriage, to block that what do you call that, promotion at work, to block them from getting pursued by a certain man, or from engaging in a particular business deal, or you get my point. Yeah, before they achieve their goals and their success, you then follow them to their car, you follow them to their home, you jam their remote, you open their boot, you take their laptop, because you've been surveilling them this whole time. You've been listening to them. You're that horrible friend. You know what I'm saying? You're that horrible boyfriend. You're that horrible girlfriend. You are that terrible mom, that terrible sister. You are that person that listens to a person's stories as they're telling them to you. Their tales of success, or their tales of achievement, or their tales of ambition. Whatever it is that they want to do. You listen to them and you act like, girl, I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for you. You listen to them and you look interested. You listen to them and you appear to be content with the fact that your girl is getting her own. You listen to her talking about a new man that she's met. She's excited about him, and the two of them are falling heavily in love, and this might just be the one. You listen to all that, and then you actively go out of your way to make sure that this guy never proposes marriage, that it only ends up being wham bam thank you ma'am, that it only ends up being a relationship that lasts a year or 2 years. You know how people in the world are. Yeah, and then they don't get married. Like, just they're always just unlucky in love, which is already luck, because like that ain't got nothing to do with God, but you get my point. Yeah, you listen to your girl speaking about her new man, and you make sure that this guy does not propose. You listen to your girl speaking about her registration at a university in order to get her master's degree, and you block her from finishing. Next thing, the chick is always exhausted, too tired, too inebriated, too overwhelmed, too much workload. And then halfway through her course, she drops it because she feels like she's just overwhelmed. She can't juggle everything. And then you're like, oh girl, that's so unfortunate. But you know what? Godspeed next time. Yeah, maybe go back after like 2 years when things have simmered down. Once you've gotten the promotion, and then you'll try again later when she was the one that exasperated her, that made her feel like she can't do it, that she can't carry both work and studying at the same time. You exhaust your friend, making sure that she struggles to burn the midnight oil as easily as she used to when she was in university. This person has always been a hard worker, and yet this time around, strangely, she just feels like it's okay. That it must be because she's overworked. And so she drops out of varsity for that degree, loses her deposit and half the fees, and tells herself that she may or may not come back later. She will not come back later, because later you are going to do the same thing again. So she's just going to remain at her honors. She's just going to be finished and done studying. That's it. Like the ones that come at degrees, yes, like it, guys, they really, like, it's it's a poignant pain for me, because my cousin did that to me. She did that to me. She came against my degree while I was busy getting it, and I could feel in the years, the last 2 years before I lost everything, I could feel in my body that I was struggling a lot more than historically to basically go to school, pay attention in lectures, study, show up for what I need to show up for, that I might acquire my degree. But I was striving, I was pushing anyway, because there's no way that I was going to drop it, because I had invested all that money in it, and then everything in my life fell apart anyway. And so I had to basically stop studying, because my life stopped. Everything stopped. I could not carry on with anything because of what happened to me. So it was one of those, if at all she is striving and she's pushing, then I'm going to make sure that life pushes back against her, that she can't even strive or push. Yeah. So I know I know what a spell to block a person from finishing a degree feels like. That's what I'm getting at. You get tired, you get exhausted. You will open the textbook and you will suddenly be overwhelmed by excessive sleepiness. You will struggle to get in your vehicle and drive to classes after work. And when you arrive at lectures, you will struggle to keep your eyes open. All of a sudden, you will feel confounded, like fog is all up in your brain when the lecturer is educating, when that was never you. Same amount of workload as the year prior to that. You are in it. You've done it this whole time. You're also at the very end. You have arrived at the end. You're nearly there. It's just a couple of months left before you graduate. And now this time around, somehow it strangely feels like you can't finish. You strangely feel like you can't finish. You have to strive. You have to push. Especially if you've invested all of those years. And Osetika, one module. You're left with like one module to graduate, which is my sorrow. I was left with one freaking module. One. And all that just got thrown out of the water. I know what a curse on education feels like. The kind of stuff that takes a straight A student and makes her suddenly rock up with C's. A C report card to the mom. Chick now no longer qualifies to be an actuary. Because while she might have been accepted at Wits University for actuarial science, with her grade 11 marks, her matric results are abysmal. And so she gets accepted and then gets told at first year at Wits that you gotta downgrade your degree, do a BCom, because you've got enough for a BCom, but you can't do a BSc, not for actuarial science, and this chick wanted to be an actuary. So she has to either upgrade or accept that she's going to do a BCom. That's the kind of stuff that witches do. They come against people whose goals were set like it was a done deal, and next thing they drop the ball. They're destructive. Like they should just go to the center of the earth and burn. They are destructive. They cause so much chaos. And when they get busted, when they get caught, when somebody suspects them, in other words, they don't even stop. They also have no fear of authority. They have no fear of Christians and their prayers. Not only do they not have fear of Christians and their prayers, Christians and their God, not only do they not have a fear of it, but they actively antagonize us. They actively seek us out to be their biggest victims. They seek out authority like a crazy kingpin drug lord out just standing outside of a police station throwing stones on the roof that they might come and do a car chase. Like no discreetness at all. The body of Christ, we tend to be the ones with all of the paraphernalia to see. The Lord is the one that gives us eyes to see, ears to hear. We are the ones that have been given spiritual gifting. That's what I'm getting at. Those would be our paraphernalia. Those are our binoculars and our magnifying glasses. We are given all of these tools to investigate, like a crime scene investigation team by the Holy Spirit. They're called gifts of the Holy Spirit. We are the ones that see. We are the ones that call them out for what they are. We are the ones that in our midst when we are praying, and especially when we are fasting, they manifest. We are in a position to basically apprehend their crimes. And yet they go to police stations and they throw stones on the top. They throw hand grenades on the top. They go to the very authority, the legislature. They go to the union buildings and they start saying, "Ooh," just to agitate the leadership they're in. They are obsessed mightily with Christianity in a way that they're not with any other religion on the earth. They are dedicated to the destruction of Christians, despite us being the poignant figure of authority that always brings them low. And this is their demise, it's their downfall. They are unlike regular criminals in the waking space who run from authority, who avoid the legislature, the judiciary, and the executive, who only bully little children in the street, otherwise known as civilians, and who scare everybody into embracing them and not snitching. They are unlike physical criminals. And so for those reasons, they always get devastatingly humiliated in a way that a lot of times physical criminals can go to the grave. Do you understand what I'm saying? Without never having been caught. Having a whole flower bed of grandchildren and great-grandchildren around them on their deathbed as they're passing away from natural causes. Having never seen the inside of a jail cell despite being a drug lord for 50 years. Sometimes criminals get away with that amount of murder. But like witches, if you are prolific in antagonizing the body of Christ, dream on. You will make it to the age of 12. You will make it to the age of 30. You won't make it to the age of 40. You won't make it to 55. You won't make it to 60. When you commence your witchcraft career at 26 and you become prolific against the body of Christ, you are not going to make it to 35. You make sure that you have a short-lived career because you are so dark and so foolish and so dastardly and so wicked and so stupid too, in your witchcraft endeavors, you antagonize figures of authority, that they bring you low. Christians become the end of you. You become obsessed with us until we finish you off. We dedicate battalions to the cause of bringing down entire covens in our countries. We work like dogs to uproot the syndicates in our lands. Whether or not people are happy that we should do that. People that don't know they need rescuing from you, thank us later. People that don't even know that there is a problem in their cities, thank us later. In the run-up to, they're busy persecuting us like the rest of the world. They don't appreciate us. We are unsung heroes until we ultimately get displayed as the most important people in the room. We are undercover cops until we become obviously, clearly cops. That's who we are as Christians. Unloved, disrespected, unsung, until our relevance and our importance is hugely appreciated, because we helped people come out from a tyranny they did not see. Let's move to the next part.